This is a descriptive analysis of organizational leadership amidst the global pandemic, brought to you by the Central Leaders Group, Tajne, Teresa, Myra, Bronson, Chakti, and Liliana. In this presentation, we'll discuss the problem with increased labor shortages during the COVID-19 pandemic, a phenomenon aptly named the Great Resignation and more recently the Great Reshuffle. We will also discuss how companies have attempted to mitigate the related damages by revising their leadership styles. Lastly, we will discuss which type of leadership style is most appropriate for companies to employ during the pandemic. So, why is there a labor shortage? Here's a short video from Chastity to explain.
Hi, first things first, I want to introduce myself. My name is Chastity. I will be discussing the labor shortages that are occurring during this pandemic. To starters, I am aware that it has been occurring for quite some years, but for the purpose of the project and the course, I will be focusing on throughout this pandemic. To start things off, I would like to mention three important questions. The first one is, what role do leaders play in this great resignation? What is a good leader? And how can leadership improve the labor shortage that is occurring? Of course, the answers to these questions are very vague and they're for thought, so think about them. But I would like to start this off with a survey that was conducted with 4,000 participants. Out of the 4,000, 46% of them mentioned that they are currently looking for another job, where 45% of them mentioned that they are looking to switch within the firm that they're at or to another firm. Those numbers are pretty high. And after reading article after article, and not just within this project, prior to the project, a lot of times they mentioned that leadership has a very strong part to all of this, just the way that the pandemic has changed lives for so many people, their views on their roles in their occupations, and it's just there's a lot going on. But focusing on leadership, I do want to bring up that it's not the only issue that is affecting this, but it seems to be one of the biggest ones. And with everything that I have learned in the course, I can pick up and gather a few pointers. The first one is that managers do need to realize their workers' new views, meaning that they are accommodations that they need themselves, and they have to be able to seek ways to improve and ways to give them these accommodations. A big one would be the hybrid remote work and on site work. A lot of times people do not want to, they're finding a lot of difficulties, and if managers cannot accommodate them, that's what's making them leave their jobs. Also, are the hourly earnings. As of right now, there's a lot of occupations that are offering higher, but although that might seem like it's attracting employees, it is also um, getting yourself to lose some employees just due to the fact that some employees are finding better opportunities. Also, there just needs to be future modifications that will benefit employees, just because a lot of the employees are leaving due to unsatisfactory management, and improving the culture, providing them better opportunities, meeting both the employers and the employees' needs can help with this labor shortage, because as it seems right now, it's just there's going to be continuation of things that are going to be occurring, and we would just have to prepare.
Just to recap, inadequate leadership has been a major contributor to the Great Resignation labor shortage. There has long been a disconnect between employee needs and appropriate response to those needs from company management, which was only amplified by a new economic climate brought on by the pandemic. Going forward, company management will need to be more responsive and accommodative to employee needs, which may require revision of their leadership approach. So, how are companies responding to the situation? Well, it appears some companies have been better at adapting their leadership styles than others. Many companies have responded with strategies that would allow them to retain top talent through the pandemic. They have adapted better channels for communication between employees and management, focused on diversity and inclusion efforts, created more flexible PTO and sick leave policies, improved pay, and even flattened management hierarchies, allowing for greater employee autonomy. But not all companies have followed suit, as in the case of Better.com, where the CEO recently fired 900 employees over a Zoom call. This was unprofessional, insensitive, and created very bad publicity for the company. Top talent may now bypass working for such a company and CEO with this reputation. So, how can a company improve their leadership strategy? Here's Myra with a short video explaining one common technique.
Hi, my name is Myra, and in this slide, I'd like to go over the ADKAR model of change. So the ADKAR model of change was actually founded by Jeffrey M. Wyatt and is explained in his book, How to Implement Successful Change in Our Personal Lives and Professional Careers. So this is often a model that many companies use whenever they need an employee to make a successful change that is long-lasting. So ADKAR stands for Awareness, Desire, Knowledge, Ability, and Reinforcement. So the first step is awareness. So you do need to bring awareness to whatever change needs to happen so the employee is aware of it. The second step is desire. So the employee themselves is the one that needs to desire the change. Others around them can help them see why that change needs to happen and the benefits of it, but overall it does have to be a personal decision. The third step is knowledge. So the employee needs the different resources or tools available to help him make that change successfully. The fourth step is actually ability. So the employee does need to have the physical ability to make the change. And the last step is actually reinforcement. So there needs to be different tools in place to help the employee stay on track to make the change. Often, this is the most difficult step for employees as it is much easier to revert back to the original way of doing things. Thank you. After analyzing real-world examples and seeing how the global pandemic progresses, we have determined efficient recommendations that could assist the company, such as the leadership of Better.com, for a betterment of the company and its employees. One change we believe could be implemented is how leaders of the company treat their employees. With the example of how Better.com fired many employees over Zoom, we were able to see the lack of compassion and understanding of their employees, and we were able to see firsthand the experience of the negative impacts it held. We believe the company can start there by examining the situation and seeing what they can do to look out for their employees and build a level of trust with them. Companies should look to train their leaders to show compassion and empathy towards its employees and how to strategize for a positive change. This can happen with more training, coaching, conferences, where these types of situations are practiced and solutions are practiced as well. Leaders need to be exposed to more tools that will help them prepare for all types of employees and situations that may arise. A second recommendation we have is to help the company enable leaders to provide an environment that is more focused on the well-being of its employees. The organization needs to understand that during these times, employees need more than just a job to come to. Employees also need to feel the value of the company they are with. A top reason we have seen employees quit is a lack of trust and appreciation from their leaders. Part of this is by encouraging an open level of communication that can occur between leaders and employees. Especially with the pandemic, it is vital for leaders to create a space for employees to feel heard and valued. Their employees will trust them and feel cared for by the company instead of being fearful that they will get fired, like the last incident with the 900 employees.
In conclusion, the global pandemic has vastly changed the way we live and work, so it's vital that companies adapt effectively. When leadership can respond to employee needs, it can result in positive changes in the attitudes of employees, leading to more success and talent retention.